Yo, what's good with y'all? In today's video, I'm about to show you guys how to make a sword combat system, basic sword combat system. You know, you have a sword, then you slash people, you deal damage and stuff. Pretty basic. I just want to say thank you guys for all the love and support you guys been showing on my videos. I want to give a shout out to Rengoku's part-time job. They are my first channel member. I want to shout out to them. I really do appreciate it, and I appreciate all the love y'all showing me. I just had to give them a shout out real quick, but let's get straight into the video. All right. So honestly, if you watch my how to do a basic combat video, it's honestly very similar, but just honestly a little less work in my opinion. So first things first, we're of course going to need a sword. Now I'm not going to like literally go get a sword. I mean make a sword. So we're gonna head on over to the toolbox. We're gonna get the sword. I'm gonna get the classic sword from Roblox, right? And then paste this right here. Put it in the toolbox. Toolbox, the starter pack, right? Now what you're going to do is you're of course going to delete these two scripts because, you know, the whole point is to, like, we're about to do all the scripting. I just need the sword itself. That's all I need is just the sword itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and take care of the things outside of scripting before. We're of course going to need a test dummy to, you know, make sure that the sword works. So let's build a rig, go with block avatar, put it right, yeah, close to spawn. Then we're going to need a remote event. Let's head on over to replicated storage and insert a remote event. Name this remote event. We could go with sword combat. Or no, let's just do sword event. Sword event, right? Then we can go ahead and start working on the local script in the classic sword. So let's head on over to the classic sword and insert a local script. Local, insert a local script. You guys can call this sword script local, right? Then we're going to delete print hello world. Oh, let me zoom in a little bit. Yeah, there we go. And first things first, of course, we're going to reference the remote event. So let's do local sword event is equal to game, that replicated storage, wait for child, sword event. So we've got our remote event. Then we're going to get the user input service. Let's do local. Actually, never mind. Sorry, guys, we don't need the user input service. Sorry. We're going to then get started on our variables for the sword itself, like, you know, the cooldown and detecting if whether or not we just did the first slash or the second slash. Because the way I want it to work is you do /1, which is one animation, then you do /2, which is a different animation. It's like the sword swings left then right, but you guys will see what I mean and stuff when we test it. So let's go ahead and make our cooldown variable. Let's do local cooldown is equal to false by default, of course. Then local /1 is equal to true. Then local /2 is equal to false, right? Now we can get into the function. So we're going to call this function activated because every time that the player activates a tool. If you don't know what that means, it means activating a tool means every time you have the tool equipped and you left click with your mouse. So we can do function activated, then close parentheses, then enter. Then let's connect the function. So let's do script.parent.activated :connect activated. Boom, we've now connected the function. So this will trigger every single time. This function will run every single time player clicks, right? So first things first, we're going to check to see if the cooldown is enabled. So we'll do if cooldown, then return. Return, right? And this pretty much means if the cooldown value is set to true, then it'll return and it won't actually run the next few lines. So we can then proceed to the next thing. We'll set the cooldown to true because if the cooldown isn't enabled, we want it to now be enabled because that means we're about to attack or do a slash. So we're going to do if /1, which means if /1 is true. Then of course we're going to set /1 to false because we want the next slash to be /2. So /2 is equal to true. Then we'll do sword event fire server. Then we're going to do /1. Then we're going to put an else. Then we're going to put an else in between. And then you guys can literally copy and paste this. Just do the opposite. Paste this. Put /2. Set /1 to true. Set /2 to false. Right? And then we are almost done. We go right here to the second to last end. We're going to put some space in between. Here's where we're going to put our cooldown. We're going to do wait 0.82, right? You guys can play around with cooldown and stuff and see what works for you. But this is what works for if you're using my animations. Then we're going to set the cooldown to false, because that's when the cooldown will expire, and boom, or run out, I guess. And boom, we have finished the local side or the client side portion of the sword script. Now we're going to work on the server side. So let's head on over to server script service and insert a server script. We can name the script sword script server. Delete print hello world. We're going to do the same thing with the remote event. We're going to get the sword event. So let's do local sword event is equal to game that replicated storage, wait for child, sword event. Then we're going to get the sound service. Local sound service is equal to game dot sound service. Then we're going to create the animations. I recommend you guys, when you're making this for the first time, use my animations and stuff, because everything is like the weights and then the time is all synced up with the animations that I chose. So we're going to do local sword slash one animation is equal to instance dot new animation, then sword slash one animation dot animation ID is equal to rbx asset ID colon / then my ID is 1405900 I'm really reading this off. Okay. All right, so that should be my animation ID. And then I'm going to copy and literally you can just copy and paste this. It'll save you a bunch of time. You want to change /2. You want to change this to /2. Then you just change the ID. Then for the second ID, it is 1405 908 4485. Okay. And we have, just like that, we have finished the animations. Now we're going to make a table so that we can keep track of what players are able to deal damage. So local players who can damage is equal to special brackets. And that's our table. Then we're going to create two local functions, but we're going to actually come to type in the content afterwards. So local function animation loader, right? Then we're going to put animation and character, right? We're going to put animation and character right there. Then we're going to skip 2 lines. Then we're going to make the damage function. So local function damage, then in parentheses put character to damage, enter. Then skip 2 lines again. And now for the last function, we're going to do sword event dot on server event connect function, in parentheses put PLR, which is short for the player, then attack type, because remember we're sending over, there's different attack types, because /1 and /2, right? Then we're going to of course retrieve the player's character. So first we'll do local character is equal to game.workspace find first child player.name, retrieve the character. Then we're going to say if attack type is equal to /1, then we're going to trigger the animation loader function. So animation loader, and then as you can see up here, we need to send it in the order that it's in. So animation, then character. Oh, put an extra A. Character, right? So we're going to send over the animation first. So we're going to do sword /1 animation, then character, right? Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to insert the player's username into the table to indicate that they are able to deal damage. So table.insert player who can damage player.name. Then I'm going to skip 2 spaces. Then I'm going to create the touch function. So do character.classic. This won't autofill, by the way. Classic sword. Make sure you put the name of whatever your sword name is, right? So the sword.handle. Make sure you're referencing the actual part of the sword, not the tool itself. .handle .touched connect function. Then you're going to put hit in parentheses, right? And then of course you need to make sure that the player's username is that the player is allowed to deal damage, as well as that the whatever they're hitting is an actual player. So if table.find players who can damage, comma player.name and hit.parent find first child humanoid. If we find a humanoid, then we're going to trigger the damage function. Then we're going to send over hit.parent, or hit dot parent, so the player's character, right? Then we're going to remove them from the table, of course, because they've just dealt damage. So player who can damage, then do table dot find players who can damage again, players dot name, and just like that, we're almost done. So then you want to come on the outs pause. You want to like go, I think like right here should be good. Yeah, right here, and then you want to do wait 0.8, and then we're gonna have an if statement. So if table dot find players who can damage, player dot name. So if the player's name is still within the table, we're gonna remove it, and then you can just copy and paste this, right? And then now all we have to do is just copy and paste this. So let's press enter right here. Else if attack type is equal to /2, right? Then we're going to paste all of this right here. So Control C, then Control V. Then just change this to sword/2 animation. And just like that, we should be good. Now all we need to do is just program the animation loader and damage functions, which won't take that much. Yeah, we should be good. So for animation loader, now we create the animation track. So let's do local animation track is equal to character dot humanoid colon load animation, and the animation we sent over, right? Then the next thing we're going to do is we're of course going to play said animation. So animation track play, right? And then we're going to play, so sound service dot sword sound colon play. So this is the sound that the sword makes every single time that you left click, this is the sword slash sound pretty much. We're going to have a different sound play when you actually hit a player. So then we're going to come to the damage function, and we're going to do character to damage dot humanoid dot health is less than equal to 10. I'm choosing 10. You guys can change the value to whatever you want. Then we do sound service dot sword sound stop. Then I'm going to come right here. I'm going to do sound service dot sword stab play, because this is the sound that we want. The sound we want to play whenever we hit something. Then we should be good. We can go ahead and test this. If I hit play, everything should work. Okay, I have the sword in my inventory right there. Okay, so as you guys can see, the different types of slashes. Go up to it, boom, just like that. Is dealing 10 damage, and I'm spamming my mouse, but obviously, there's a cooldown, so the animations are having time to play, and that's how you make a sword combat system. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys for all the support y'all been showing me, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.